Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of B Can Build It. I'm B, and in the last episode, I didn't know what was going on, but I'm kind of happy now because I just figured out why this thing was leaking. And it was something kind of stupid on my side, but I'm glad I'm doing it so everybody else can see it, so they'll make the same mistake. And if you know about this, leave a comment. So my whole problem this entire time was this right here. So if you can see in there, that is where the old dipstick used to go. And because I'm using an aftermarket pan, that old dipstick hole was where all the oil was coming out of. Because I put that in there and I forgot to plug the factory dipstick hole. So I went online and I was looking for an actual plug to see if this was a real thing, and sure enough, got a genuine GM replacement part straight from mainland China, whatever part of Texas that is. But yeah, that's the plug. And I'm just gonna push that in there, put this motor back together, and I'm not gonna replace that oil pan gasket, no rear main seal, and I already got the flywheel, pressure plate, and clutch back in there, aligned and torqued. So I think it's time that I just hammer this thing out and get it back together. Alright, so we're back. I got the transmission on the transmission jack and lowered the motor till they're about even. I got that fresh plug installed right there for the factory dipstick hole, and I'm gonna go ahead and run my bolts in there, see if I can get this thing to line up. Most of the time they go on real easy if you grease the shaft of the input shaft going into the transmission, and then yeah, that's my only secret. Just put this thing together. All right. Looks like I got the transmission on there. The only thing I really had to do is I lined it up, pushed it together, and then I turned the harmonic balancer once or twice. Everything seemed like it was clicking right on. Put all the bolts on and it's good. I even got my little adapter plate down there. So yeah, let's put it in the engine bay. Didn't really do much. I just cleaned up all the gunk and stuff off the rack and pinion, and then I added a rib nut right there. That's just for this, for the clutch line. So go ahead and slide it in there and see what it looks like. Okay, so at this point, pretty much have the transmission right where I want it. Got the setup how I want it, and I have my transmission jack down there. So the whole idea is to lower it down to where it touches that jack, and then I can start sliding it in, because the weight of the transmission and half of the motor or whatever is going to be on that jack. So then it should just glide right in. So go ahead and get her in there. Okay, let's see if I can get this on camera. So the transmission jack is right there. Got it pushed in far enough. So all I really have to do is let it down slowly. So about right there. And I'll hit the transmission jack and it'll all just float in. Alright, lots of progress. So I got the motor and transmission in there. Got the cross member in the back on, and then I have both of the engine mounts, solid engine mounts. So if you want to know what engine mounts I'm using, those are actually, put this down right here. Ooh, there's a light right there. Yeah, that works. I'll just leave that, yeah. Shine some light on it. Yeah, so those mounts, the one that's actually mounted to the block, that's just some generic eBay mount that I bought, and then the actual mount that's mounting it to the chassis, those are factory solid KA motor mounts. And that's it. I don't know exactly how much the mount was on the motor. I gotta look that up. I'll probably put like a little something in there saying how much it was, but it was definitely cheaper than buying a whole kit, and everything kind of fits where it's supposed to be at. So yeah, I got that done, and then I also have that rib nut right there, and the reason I put that there is because there's no mount for this clutch line. So that has one of these things on there, and that's it. So yeah, there's the other mount. If I can zoom in on that. Yeah. Oh, and I put 2 bolts in the exhaust, just because this one has the steering column running through the middle of it. So it's better once you put the motor mounts in and that cross member in between doing both of those, to put that exhaust manifold on there. Or she might not get it. The other one on this side, it just comes right out, but there's a lot of room on this side. So yeah, I think that's it for tonight. I'm gonna wake up and get started on this in the morning, but for you guys it'll just be like 2 seconds. Alright, just like that, it's the next day. So I got the lift plate off, got my 2 knock sensors installed, got the plate bolted down, and then I started laying my wiring harness in, which is really simple. So all of these right here, the idle air temperature, throttle position sensor, and IAC sensor, those all go to your intake manifold. Once I put that in there, got the coolant temperature sensor, and then alternator, and the main power for the alternator, I have to hook that up. And then I have both of the coil pack wires. They're labeled driver side and passenger side. And then both of the injectors, driver side, passenger side. And then that wire laying right there, that's for the O2 sensor on the passenger side. And I also got the other one laying right there. Right there. You can see that. That's for the driver side. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that other header in. Well, first I'm gonna put that starter on. Then I'm gonna throw the other header in and just keep making progress on this thing. Then I have to put the steam purge system in, which is right there. So let's get to it. Well, also I went ahead and got some new exhaust manifolds, gaskets, because the old ones were kind of thrashed. So I'm gonna pop those on there, and they have the torque spec, which I'm not gonna use. 20 foot-pounds, maybe. Okay, just a tip. Put the exhaust manifold on first before you put the starter on, because you can't get the exhaust manifold past the starter. And also, forgot to show this, but my 2 grounding points right there and right there go go to these two wires, and I have those connected to the side of the block. Let's see if I can show you that right there. And can't get it there and see it. And right there. So I'm gonna hook these two grounds back up, so the motor will be grounded, and then I'm gonna slide underneath here. And hook up that drive shaft. But almost there. Okay, we're making some good progress now. So I got the clutch line hooked up right here. This is going down into, I think, the slave cylinder down there inside of the transmission. And I just have it pumped up right now to about 15 pounds. And I'm gonna go underneath, crack the bleeder open till I get a decent flow. Then I'm gonna stop it, and the clutch line should be bled out and ready to use. You can kind of see the air bubbles coming to the top. But yeah, let's crack that line open. Okay, just like that, we are under the car. Where's my flashlight? Alright, kind of tight under here, but as you can see, there's the bleeder for the clutch. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to crack that open and see if we can get some flow. Get a steady stream of flow. It's completely bled out, so it's pressurized at the top. And I made a little mount right there out of some old piece of metal that I found. And yeah, that should be the clutch all bled out. And then on this side, I already have the pump all hooked up right there, going to that big grease jug right there. So I'm just going to use that hand pump to pump fluid into the transmission and fill the transmission up till it overflows. So I'm going to knock these two things out, and then I can put the Y pipe on, which is right there. Then I'll be done underneath the vehicle. Oh, now I just got to put the O2 sensors in right there and right there. And if anybody wants to know, they actually come with the O2 bungs already welded in from ISR, so it's really good placement and fitment. So I'll get back to work. Okay, and this is how I fill the transmission. So what I do is I take all the gear oil, instead of taking it out of individual bottles, I just put it in this one big bottle. Then I grab my pump and I just pump away. And you can see it going down. And it's just a little $5 pump from, oh, it came out. No. Okay. Yeah, there it goes. Well, you guys get the idea. Alright, so it looks like we got everything in. We got the exhaust manifold on both sides. Both O2 sensors are in. And I just have those zip tied up. One is zip tied right there. And the other one is zip tied right there. All out of the way. Got the Y pipe on. And this ISR stuff, I can't say enough good stuff about it because everything that I've ordered for them has just fit perfectly. So, yeah. Now we can do all the clean stuff, which is just the intake manifold and the stuff on the top. Oh, I also forgot I got to change this fitting. So this is the fitting I was talking about that's going to replace this two-piece 6AN fitting right here. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that off and then explain the differences. Okay, I got the old fitting off right here. See if you can see that. If it'll focus. That was a problem I was having, is I was having a leak, or it was leaking from right here. So put some thread locker in there, pipe dope, whatever you want to call it. And it seems like it kind of slowed it down a whole lot, but it is the high pressure side of the power steering. So I went online and I was looking around and I found this fitting, which is all one piece. So you got your inlet to your Saginaw power steering pump right here. And then this is a 6AN. This is a conversion fitting with the factory fitting that comes with the Saginaw pump. So this is going to be a much needed upgrade, so I don't have to worry about this leaking anymore. So I'm going to throw this on there. Okay, so I did get the fitting on. There's that. Got the line connected. That goes around and then goes down and then connects to the high power side, or the high pressure side for the power steering going into the rack. Right there. And the other low pressure fitting is right there. I mean, the return is right there. And that just goes back around, goes down, and connects right there. Real simple. So power steering's completely hooked up. I just have to bleed that out, which is just turning the steering wheel back and forth to get the air out of the system. After I fill it all the way up. And now I can start putting this thing back on. So the intake manifold, there was one big thing I've been wanting to change on this for a long time, is these two fittings right here. So those two fittings, when you buy the kit, they come with these two straight fittings. I'm going to be replacing those with the same thread pitch. I think one is a 1/8 and then the other one is a 1/4 inch. But I want them to 90 because this one, let me back out. That fitting is actually going to go to my catch can. And then this fitting, let's see if I can get it to stand up. This fitting is going to go to the brake booster. And then this one's going to go to my fuel pressure regulator. And then this one is actually going to go to a vacuum gauge or boost gauge. But yeah, I'm going to take these two off, put these two back on, then I have to put these two on. Then I'll run some lines. And I think that's it. I can put this intake manifold back on. And I just have to empty this crate of parts. Put all that stuff back on there. But I think I'm just going to throw the coils on and the wires and plug everything in. And then I'm going to go get some oil right now. And put some oil in this thing and fire it up, see what it sounds like. What kind of oil do you guys run in your motors? Leave a comment. I'm still kind of skeptical. I am in California, so it doesn't get too cold, and then doesn't get too hot either where I'm at. So thinking 5:30, maybe 5:30. Whatever's on sale. Anyways, I'll be back. I'm going to the store. Okay, before I forget to explain this, I took off the throttle body, and there's two things that I added. I guess there's two things I want to say. So this is an aftermarket throttle body or throttle cable mount. You can find them on eBay. They're just generic 102 millimeter throttle body cable bracket. I think that's what it's underneath on eBay. But anyways, that one worked out perfect. I bought the expensive one from ICT Billet, but it didn't work because something was in the way. I think the throttle was on the wrong side. So buy the cheap $20 one if you're going to be using the factory KA throttle cable, which works perfect. Also, I took this off because there's a little bit of oil in there. Let's see if I can zoom in on that. So I'm going to clean that oil out, clean this intake manifold out, clean the sensors up, put those fittings in, and then I'm throwing this thing back on there. Okay, got the intake manifold all squared away. Got my two 90-degree fittings right there. Turn on the light. Yeah, got the two 90-degree fittings right there, and then the two regular vacuum fittings in the middle. Got everything tightened up. So as you can see, that back line right there is going to go to my booster, and it has a little check valve right there. And then this front line is going to go to my catch can, which I haven't mounted yet. And then this one, I have a plug in it right now, but that one's going to go to a boost / vacuum gauge on the dash. And then this other line is going to go to the fuel pressure regulator. Simple. So I'm going to flip this thing over, and then I'm going to install my steam purge system, and I should be getting pretty close to firing this thing up. Alright, we are finally there. Alright, got everything hooked up, got the intake manifold on, both of the coil packs are on. That one is disconnected. I need to plug that in, hold on. Okay, got that coil pack connected. Looks like I got everything else on. The other coil pack is connected right there. Injector on driver's side is connected, and then the injector on the passenger side is down there, but it's connected. So it looks like I got everything. Throttle cable, both my fuel line, the return is hooked up. The feed is coming in right there. That's hooked up. So I do have the keys in the ignition, and I have it in the on position, so I can check for any leaks right now. Alright, I don't see anything. I'm going to do that again. Turn that off. Looks like the pressure's going up on the regulator. And I usually just go through and touch all the connections. Yeah. So we got no fuel leaks. Let's try to fire it up. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and try to fire it up. It does have oil in it. I put 6 quarts of oil in it, 520. So see what happens. Got no leak. Looks good. Sounds even better. Alright, so that's it. She's running. Just like that. Back together. I just got to put on the front end, the headlights, connect some basic stuff up, but pretty happy with it. So I guess I'll catch you guys on the next one. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you later.